Viewers and subscribers, welcome back again. Let us deal with this once and for all. And I want you to answer me this question in sincerity. Between what happened in Niger Republic and what happened in Nigeria this year, which one is coup? Which one is more bloody than the other?
Military intervention in Niger is not an option. That simply is not something we should do as Africans. There are better ways of dealing with our issues. Our elders must come together. Our elders must have a frank conversation, and let's look at what is ultimately best for the people, not only the people in Niger, but in all former French colonies and ultimately in all African countries, because this moment is calling for unity, meaningful unity of purpose among the African leaders to simply say, guys, this can no longer continue. It simply cannot continue. The people have spoken, and I hope our leadership would listen. I see what's happening in Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea very differently. If you look at the previous coups, those were orchestrated by Western powers, majority, of course, orchestrated by France. They had their own intentions, in a few quite documented very well. The leaders were trying to do what was ultimately best for their people, and those leaders were assassinated. The difference between these coups are coups being led by our people. The people have spoken. The people now truly understand the issues. The people are standing up to say what has been going on is unfair, is unacceptable. It really just simply makes sense that something has got to give. There is a difference between the previous coups and these last 4 coups, especially the one in Niger. I actually, on a personal level, I feel uncomfortable even calling them coups. This is you look at a situation where people are basically desperate, where they know they're rich in natural resources, and yet the majority of the people are extremely poor. How long can that situation be sustained before the people finally wake up and rise up? That is what's happening. And I would like to call what's happening in these 4 countries as an ideological realignment of their economic, of their political, of their social values. At some point, if you look at the situation with the former French colonies, before even a president comes to power, there are certain no-go areas that the president must not touch, because if you do, you may not live to see the end of the day. Areas like the military, areas like, of course, the finances and the reserves that must be deposited with the French treasury, areas of the natural resources. So if you are a president, an African president, who is coming to power, and you are told, as long as you stay away from discussions pertaining to their presence, military presence in the country, training of your military by France, equipping of your military by France, don't talk about the natural resources, whose the French companies have the first right of approval. Do not talk, and make sure you continue to deposit your bank reserves with the French central bank. If you avoid those areas, then you're free to run your country any which way you want. Now, what kind of a leader is that? What environment are you going to be occupying and managing and running your country with all those major areas of economic development no longer accessible to you? The whole thing is so mind-boggling that we have gone to, over so many years, this is 2023, that the leaders in Africa have been unable to undo the agreements that were put in place when the African countries were given their independence. It is unbelievable that to this day, you can have a country like Niger to be the 2nd poorest country in the world, and yet all their resources are going to France. Most of Niger is not electrified, while their uranium is electrifying France and Europe. You can take one after the other after the other. At every level, it's unfair, it's unacceptable, and I don't even know how the Western powers could really go to sleep every day knowing of the carnage that the havoc they're creating in Africa, and hope that this will go on forever. The time has come. The children of Africa are now awoken. They can see clearly now, and they're simply standing up and saying, enough is enough. So yes, we don't like coups, but the last 4 coups are very different in the sense that the children of Africa are very clear because they are the ones standing up and saying, we got to take back our country. We need to defend our turf. What's right is right. What is wrong is wrong. We can no longer continue to be exploited. That's what makes this different. It's not influenced by France. The coups are not influenced by any nation. It's simply people standing back and saying, we're taking back what belongs to us. And that's what makes these coups different. And I'm uncomfortable calling them coups. I'm calling them instead ideological realignment of our economic, political, and social values.
I must tell you that what happened in Niger Republic is a revolution and not a coup. But what happened in Nigeria is a coup, bloody coup for that matter. And yet, the man sitting in Aso Rock is leading a military intervention to bring out their so-called democratic order in Niger Republic. Can you imagine that nonsense? No, tell me, Niger Republic, the junta leaders, the people that carried out this revolution, because to me it is not a coup, did that to save the masses from the wickedness of their political class, who had continued to amass primitive wealth at the expense of the people. They keep selling their natural resources. Only the politicians and their families get richer and better, while the people continue to languish in poverty. You can imagine exporting uranium to countries to power their electricity and their nuclear plant, yet you don't have electricity.
Recently, French African countries have been rising against France and the grip it has on their nations. Just recently, Mali decided to drop French as it declared that it is no longer its official language. Not long after that, Vladimir Putin invited African nations, especially those under France's thumb. These countries all said enough is enough. They asked themselves, how can our countries be so resource-rich, yet we are so poor? Currently, there is a coup in Niger, which most of the citizens are in support. The military has ousted the government of President Mohamed Bazoum. Some of the ECOWAS nations condemn this act, and has given Niger's military a 7-day request to restore the ousted president. The new military government doesn't seem bothered. The very first thing the new government did was ban the export of their uranium and gold to France, as they believed they are being exploited by France while their people suffer. This will be a lot of problem for France, as 1/3 of the homes in France are powered by uranium from Niger. Can you imagine that? Almost your whole country is powered by another country, yet that same country is the second poorest country in the world. It doesn't just end there. Over 80% of homes in Niger lack access to electricity, while France enjoys this.
The same thing is happening in Nigeria, where we sell our crude oil, where we even give other countries light. It is even shameful to hear that Nigeria cut off electric supply to Niger Republic, whereas we in Nigeria, we are living in darkness. You will not imagine just coming out or stepping out from the barbing salon where I just barbed my hair. This is about the only place you can see light within this very estate. And this estate is well built and well inhabited by people. But you know what? Everywhere is like in the middle of a desert, because fuel price don't go high. No NEPA, no money to power generator. Take a look. You can see this is a very busy road on a normal day. And in the morning, This is a well built up area. Well built up area. My left, my right are full of buildings. Buildings well habited by people. But you can see we are all living in darkness. That is the kind of system we are running. A man that came to power through democratic coup, electoral coup, constitutional coup, bloody one for that matter, where people were killed, where he even incited violence.
It's not going to be served in a restaurant. It's not served in a la carte. At all costs, fight for gratis, snacking. Around with you. At all costs, gratis, snacking. Around with you. Fight for around with you. It's not serving a la carte. A la carte. A la carte. It's not going to be served in a restaurant. It's not serving a la carte.
That is a mistake. Over the year, every mistake is being said. Over the year, is a war. Every year,
as we sit down again, any people where they come anywhere, where they come, they can't. Where they come, they come to
fight. Around with you. It's not serving a la carte. A la carte. A la carte. It's not serving a la carte. A la carte. A la carte. Around with you.
what you are doing. And about the we are speaking. Please, if you know what to do, please sit down for
back. So the land carry box, everybody carry 5 minutes. But this country will take a mandate back. Will not relent.
Fight.
People were mutilated, people were injured, people were killed in the process. Whereas in Niger coup, not even a gunshot was shot. Not even one person was killed. Not even one person was killed. The president was taken on house arrest and the military took over. No politician was killed. Except, of course, the anger, the outrage. They went about to destroy the politician's property. We didn't have any record of saying, oh, they killed this politician or they do this one. No. But in Nigeria, Nigerians were killed. And upon that, they lost the election. They didn't even meet the constitutional requirement. Yet, this man called Tinubu was announced as president-select and subsequently sworn in as the substantive president of Nigeria, which is still under contention. You are trying to bring democratic order to Niger, whereas you are bringing billboard in Nigeria, trying to intimidate people from speaking out. All eyes on the judiciary. You are threatened. You are sacking people. You are trying to undermine free speech. Nigerians are putting their eyes on the judiciary, the advertisement board. You are bringing them down, and you will try to go to the jail to forestall democratic process. And people will be clapping for you. Well, I have delivered this message, and I hope everyone who sees this message, especially Nigerians, will understand the need for us all to be involved in this process and save ourselves from the impending doom. Every one of us, irrespective of where you're coming from or what you're agitating for, I'll keep saying it. It is only through political process to purge ourselves from bad corrupt politicians. Stop making yourself instruments in the hands of these politicians during elections, because that is the only way they access power. Reject them completely. Completely. And perhaps there might be hope for your freedom and the rest of us. I'm signing out. I want to have your opinion on this. Drop it on the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe if you have not for more video updates. Bye-bye for now.